Our graduation speaker this morning is Michelle Gielan, Holton class of 1996. Michelle is an accomplished positive psychology researcher and best-selling author of Broadcasting Happiness. Pursuing a successful career at CBS as a national network news anchor, Michelle recognized something was missing. She left CBS to study positive psychology under Dr. Martin Seligman at the University of Pennsylvania, earning her master's degree. Michelle is the founder of the Institute for Applied Positive Research, as well as an executive producer of the Happiness Advantage special on PBS and a professor for Oprah's Happiness course. Her research has been featured often in the Harvard Business Review, New York Times, Washington Post, Forbes, CNN, and Fox. She has advised multiple businesses such as Google and Pepsi, and organizations such as the Boston Children's Hospital and the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. With all of this to keep her busy, Michelle is also married and has a 3-year-old son. Believing that happiness doesn't just happen, Michelle explains that we all broadcast information to others, intentionally or not. With attention to retraining our brain, we can be agents for positive change in our lives. Given seniors and soon to be Holton-Arms alumni and graduates, that you have been educated here at our alma mater to go out into the world to lead lives of positive influence, I believe we are all very fortunate to have Michelle here this morning as our graduation speaker. Thank you.
Good morning. I am so thrilled to be here. I'm so grateful to get the chance to spend this time with you. I've already cried 5 times, I will admit it. Kenny welcomed me into the main entrance and I was like, I'm so happy to be here. Oh gosh, hand me some tissues. Girls, congratulations. I know firsthand what a feat this is, being from the class of 96 and your accomplishments. I don't want you to forget how big this is. This is awesome. So in a year's time, in 5 years' time, when you're struggling with something, I hope you conjure up this memory and remember what work you put into this, how proud your family is, and how incredible this is. I'm a happiness researcher, and I would love to start in an unusual place. If you're up for it, I'd love to conduct an experiment with all of you, one that I hope will change your life. If you're willing to participate, I'd love for you to partner up with someone sitting near you. Now, here's one thing. I'd love for it not to be someone that you're married to or hoping to marry, so if you have to move around, that's okay. So why don't you go ahead and find a partner. All right, so person number 1, you're sitting closest to this side of the forest. Person number 2, you're sitting closest to this side. So who's person number 1 in the pair? Raise your hands. Okay, good. Person number 2? Okay, excellent. That's not the experiment. So you have reached this place because of all the self-discipline and self-control that you've been able to cultivate through the course of your life. And so what I'd love for you to do during this experiment is I'd love for you to control your behavior for just 7 seconds. Do you think you can do that? Okay. So, I'd like for you to turn and face your partner. Okay, make sure you're within striking distance of one another. And person number 1, I'd love for you to go neutral on the inside. Feel no emotions, think no thoughts. Make sure to have a poker face. Keep your hands at your sides. And then, when I say go, person number 2, I would like for you, well, first of all, person number one, do not get angry with person number two for doing to you what I'm about to tell them to do to you. So person number two, when I say go, I would like for you to genuinely smile at person number one, and person number one you can't break. Go. And stop. Wow. I didn't realize when I paired you up that person number two would be the person with all the control and power in this relationship. So for those psychology friends of mine out there, you know that when you do an experiment that involves deception, you can't just switch things around and let the other person go. But in this case, because hey, it's graduation, why not? I'd love for you guys to switch roles. Person number two, go neutral on the inside, feel no emotions, think no thoughts, control your face, have a poker face for 7 seconds. And person number one, it's your turn for retaliation. Go. And stop. All right, so for a show of hands, with a show of hands, okay, what I would love for to figure out what the results were. So failure in this experiment meant that you smiled when I so nicely asked you not to smile. Success meant you were able to control your behavior for those 7 seconds. So first of all, I'd love to know who miserably failed. Arms high. Good, excellent. And then who was successful? Okay. 30, 40, 50, about 60 liars. Okay. I love you guys. All right, so I was okay at math when I was here. I'm terrible on the fly in front of people with pressure. So I'm going to guess that based on the number of people I know here and how many I just counted off, that the smiling percentage for all of you was about 93%. Okay, so the good news is, well, that's above average. The other news is that actually your success or failure in this experiment is predictive of nothing. So, but so now cross-culturally, so my husband and I, we've done this. He's a happiness researcher too. We're two married happiness researchers. That's a whole nother story. We have done this experiment now in 51 countries across the world. And what we have found is that the smiling percentage on average is 80 to 85%. So you guys are above average, which is very good and very telling, right? Now, I think that the fact that this is a cross-cultural, very universal experience, that we're able to influence each other so quickly, is such a central fact to being human. And it's something, though, we often forget. Not only do we forget how powerful we are to influence other people in a positive direction, but the thing is, we get stuck on the opposite fact, that negative people or negative news can negatively influence us. I mean, think about it. Everyone always talks about that, how the news can affect us. And we often forget how powerful we can be to positively influence others. So, girls, as you go out into the world and you focus on your future and the positive change that you hope to create, I want you to remember your own power to positively influence other people. And it is so important to keep that top of mind right now, because as we are looking for messages about what the future holds, sometimes we can receive mixed messages, right? I mean, from our friends, from our family, from the news. And I don't want anyone in this world to ever give you an idea that the future is bleak, because it's actually incredibly bright. As you heard in the introduction, I used to be a news anchor, so I knew firsthand what the negative news can do to the trajectory of people's lives. And since then, I've studied it. I've looked at in a study we did with Arianna Huffington, we found that just 3 minutes of negative news in the morning can increase your chances of having a bad day by 27%. And that's as reported 6 to 8 hours later. So what's significant about that is that the mood and mindset we can adopt in the morning sticks with us through our time at work and our time with our families. We're even feeling the effects as we're cooking dinner. So instead of taking a vitamin in the morning, the news can act like a poison pill. And so it's important for us not to stay steeped in the negativity, but it's also equally important for us not to keep our heads in the sand, right? We need to know what's going on about the world's problems because, especially with you, we need you there. You're brilliant, amazing brains to help us overcome those challenges. The key to protecting your head and your heart in the face of those problems is to stay solutions focused and also to focus on the successes that we've been able to achieve. We've seen this formula now coming out of the field of positive psychology, that if we want to fuel the brain, it's important to keep the brain focused on all the successes we've been able to achieve, like the one that brought us here today, and the solutions that we can use in the face of challenges. And the best thing about that is following that formula actually will make you smarter. In a follow-up study we did, we found that if we expose the brain not just to a focus of a look at the problems, but we actually look at solutions as well, our creative problem-solving abilities increase by 20%. So the more we can get our brains focused on problems, the better we'll think not only about that particular issue, but about other things we're doing as we move throughout our day. So my question to you as you're leaving high school is, who are you going to be? The repeater of the negative, which we see so much out there, or the broadcaster of successes and solutions? When your friend comes to you because she's worried about a breakup or a bad grade, are we going to get into all the salacious details about what happened? Or are we going to talk about it, give her a chance to tell her story, and then think about, hey, can we brainstorm? What can we do to help solve this problem? So I left CBS News because I no longer wanted to be that bringer of bad news. I had a realization that I didn't want a small child walking through the room listening to what I was broadcasting. I left CBS to study the science of happiness at the University of Pennsylvania. Yes, ladies, there is actually a master's degree in this program. And so today I want to share with you the two strategies, the two tools that I went massively into debt to get. And I want to share them with you for free. I wish I had had these at the ready when I was sitting in this seat. I wish I had had these at the ready when I fell into a year-long bout with depression when I was 24. These are the tools that help us supercharge our brain, to fuel it with empowerment and optimism and positivity, and help move us through our toughest challenges. So the two tools are find the good and share it. Finding the good is basically being able to constantly stay in touch with what we're grateful for. In practical terms, the way we describe it in the research is being able to focus the brain on the good stuff happening, and in particular, writing down 3 new and unique things we're grateful for each day. By practicing gratitude in a very conscious way, we're actually retraining our brain to see all those moments, even when we feel as if there's really nothing good going on in our lives. It pushes our brain in that positive direction. So for all those parents who do gratitudes around the dinner table, you guys are doing such good work. And that's really the stuff that will leave a lasting impression on our children. It's something I'm trying to do now with my 3-year-old, who is grateful for things as simple as peas and corn and trucks and trucks and trucks. We often recommend doing this practice for a period of 21 days as a starter kit. But if we can keep this practice up and then also involve others through, maybe an email with a handful of your friends to share those positive gratitudes, or a gratitude board at work, or your, outside your dorm room, then we really not only do we benefit, but we also get others to benefit as well. And the second strategy is sharing it. Once we see the good, we can use that as positive fuel to help improve the lives of other people. So again, just to, like the actual instructions that we often share when I work with companies and organizations, we suggest that they write down, they send a positive note first thing in the morning to someone that praising or thanking them. So instead of opening up your email and looking at all the to-dos that you have to do, you'll see this soon enough when you get to work. Instead, first hit compose and send off a positive note to someone that you know, telling them why they've made a positive impact in your lives. There's lots of people to choose from right here to get you started. And make it easy on yourself. If email's not your thing, then maybe it's a text message or a Facebook message. But getting into that regular habit of connecting deeply with other people is not only obviously good for them, but it's good for you. The reason why this habit works is that it communicates to the brain that we have deep and robust social support. Social support is the greatest predictor of long-term levels of happiness that we have in the research. It's the breadth, depth, and meaning of the relationships that we have. You do this practice for 3 days and your brain says, oh my gosh, look at the people that love and care about me. You keep it up for 21 days and your brain is permanently transformed. It's really powerful. So I hope that you will engage in those practices both in good times and challenging ones. But I will tell you this, after studying the science of happiness now for a decade, what I've come to see is that stress, unhappiness, pain, and uncertainty are only the start of the story. Every day you have a chance to write your story. Every day you have the chance to see and broadcast the positive change to people around you, to make them and yourself happier and more successful. With you, the future is so bright. You are agents of change. And think about it, if you can silently change someone for the better and make them happier in just 7 seconds, imagine what you can do with more time. Go out into this world and be the change that you wish to see in it. And let's together write an amazing story. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations, class of 2017.